Froggy here, coming to another video review. And today, as you can see, I'll be taking a look at Titan's Return Titan Class Trypticon. Yep, basically 2 Titan Class Transformers right in a row. No, I'm not suicidal yet. I am, however, very, very tired. Anyway, before we move on to the big man himself, we're going to take a look at the littlest member of his party, little Necro, the headmaster for his little buddy. Here's his size compared to a soda can. Very tiny, as all Titan Masters, not headmasters, my bad, as very tiny as all Titan Masters are. And he is extremely small. As far as colors go, it's Decepticon colors. 2 barely different shades of purple, single black piece for the head, a couple spots of red and silver for the upside down face, and that's about it. Now, the face is there, but there's not really any detail there. As far as poseability goes, his head's on a ball joint, so it can go back and forth a little bit, but it's pretty tight, side to side a little bit. And rotate all the way around, but it is very tight. Arms can't really go out beyond that. They're not supposed to pop off. Can't really go up much farther than that without popping off. Legs can go forward that far. Can't really go back at all. And he has 90 degrees of bend at the knee. So, fairly basic for poseability, but, I mean, he's 1.5 inches tall. What do you expect? As far as his transformation into his head mode, he's a Titan Master, so it's pretty easy. You just snap his knees, fold up his waist, and there you have Necro in his head mode for full tilt. Speaking of full tilt, here he is himself in his vehicle mode. He is a very purple car. I had to fold up Trypticon's ramp to get a little bit of room. Size compared to a soda can. Colors are virtually identical to Necro. 2 different shades of purple, a little bit of black, and a few stickers with some silver detailing and a very tiny amount of dark gray. View from above and below. You can open up this area here, which does give you a little seating area for Necro in there, which is neat. You can get his head to cooperate. Now, he does come with an accessory, just the one gun, double-barreled blaster. It's all molded in black. You can just plug it in up there, and you've got something out of Mad Max. His transformation is fairly simple. Just get the gun and Necro out of the way. Take what should be the headlights and untab them. Bring them all the way around. Take these panels in the back and swing them all the way out to the sides. Fold down the front of the car to become the bulk of the legs. Fold these panels back to close them up. Flip this panel up to become his crotch plate. Bring these sides down to form his arms. Flip out the hands. Bring it down. Flip out the hands. Take this large chunk, the engine chunk, just bring it down and back there, and then attach Necro, which is extremely tight. There we go. And there you have full tilt in robot mode. Here's his size compared to a soda can. A little bit taller than the average deluxe. Colors are virtually the same. couple different shades of purple, dark gray, silver, some stickers, and a little bit of black. No, and a little bit of red thanks to his visor now. View from above and below. As far as poseability goes, it's okay. Head's on a ball joint, so it can go all the way around. You can look up, kinda, look down just a little bit. Arms can go out to the side all the way. Although if you use this transformation joint there, with the ball joint they can really only go out about that far. They can move back and forth a little bit. All the way around the shoulder. Swivel just below the shoulder. 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist unless you count the transformation joint. Nothing at the waist. Legs can go forward that far. Back that far. Out to the side that far. Swivel just below the hip, though it is pretty tight. The legs can bend that far at the knee, so about 90 degrees. More if you open up this panel, but it kind of destroys the look. For whatever reason, his legs can bend in the wrong direction too, so that's something. And of course, he does still have his gun, just his little double-barreled blaster. You can just stick that in his hand. And there you go. So, nothing extravagant, but he does the job. And now here we are back to fully zoomed out so you can see the entire thing. Let's go ahead and do a quick size comparison with a soda can. As you can see, Trypticon in his city mode is quite large, as you would expect a city to be. Or in this case, more like a temple thing. Now, like with 6-Gun, I only bought Brunt for his involvement with Trypticon. And I had to sort of play around with it here because a lot of the stuff that Brunt did in the original G1 figure he just couldn't do here. But, so what I've done is I have Brunt's arms up here. I have Brunt's torso plugged in on this knee. And I have Brunt's hips and knees plugged in over on this knee, which I cannot get out. One interesting thing I discovered about Brunt's cannon assembly is the little molding holes here are just big enough to go onto a Titan port. So I just put it right there. And that's how I deal with Brunt in the city mode. But as a quick view over, you've got these towers back there. Trypticon's head just kind of at her. So this thing is very wide. You know, some ramps for full tilt to go up or something. There's a whole space in there. That comes into play more in the other modes. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the pieces of Brunt. And we'll go ahead and get this guy into his Spaceship Mode. Okay, so let's get this started. First thing you need to do is just get this ramp folded up. There are tabs on either side that should lock it in place. Just get these out of the way temporarily. Fold up these ramps. Come on. And these come back all the way around and sit flat against the side. Then, if I can get the... collapse down these towers and point them forward. Fold the gun part back, bring this all the way down, should sit flat right there. And then one of the more stressful parts of the transformation, the legs. I'll do my best to get this on camera, but basically you need to take the outer side of the leg here and fold it in so that it sits on this part. There are a whole bunch of posts on this side that will go into ports on this side of the leg. I'll make sure this panel's out of the way. Make sure everything fits together properly. It should all just snap together. And then bring the leg in on the hip joint. And there is a large tab here that will go into a large slot there. I'm sure a couple of you are freaking out right now, but I got the reissued version, not the reissued, the later version that came with the less extreme hip joint, so it's not quite as dangerous. And then just flip out the wing and do the same thing on the other side. I'll see if I can get a little bit closer to see easier. So again, just fold this leg down. I'm not sure how well I can actually get all this on camera since this guy is just so flippin' big. Just squeeze all that together. Bring the hip forward. Get that tab in place. Fold out the wing, and there you have Trypticon in his spaceship mode. Here's his size compared to a soda can. Again, he's still a Titan Class Transformer, so he is freaking huge. His colors are pretty much exactly the same as they were in base mode. Medium gray, or I guess dark gray, purple, an oddly sickly lime green, translucent green, and then a plethora of stickers and a little bit of clear orange. But I can give you a clearer view of what he looks like in this mode. Then he's a bit easier to maneuver. And yes, his head is just hanging out back there. Here is a view from the top of the ship. And a view from the bottom. As you saw, he has quite a few wheels, so he rolls decently. Not well, but decently. One feature he does have in this mode that, to this day, I still haven't figured out is that you can take this front portion, just pop it up a little bit, and then it will open up, and he's got a compartment that's just big enough for a deluxe class figure to fit in there, and you can close it back up. And I still haven't figured out what that's for. Maybe it's the hold, fill, tilt. Maybe it's supposed to be some kind of prison. I don't know. What I do know is he has a little bit of poseability. You can move these guns up and down. You can still move the large gun here up and down. And of course these can maneuver up and down. That's really about it for the poseability of this mode. Of course, there's still the interior, which I will try and give you a little better look at. I would show you from above, but you can't really see much in there. But the interior section that you can access from those little holes goes back to here. That's really about it for what you can do in Spaceship Mode. You can still put Brunt all over, but I usually don't. And now, the transformation to robot/Dino mode. Okay, so first things first, take these side panels, just flip them in, makes things a little easier. Flip in the wings. You want to detach the feet from the main body. You want to get the large cannons here out of the way a bit. And then you pretty much want to bring all of this in, and then there is a clip here. I'll go on a tab right there. So just plug that on there temporarily. And then attach the hip section from here. It just locks in with some tabs up here. And you want to bring this all the way down. And there is a large tab here that operates a switch that's in here as well to lock it into the main body and lock the leg into place. You basically need to activate that tab while just pressing this whole assembly in. So just like that. And if that can't move, then we're good. So then bring the arm section and it will just slot in right there. That's good for that portion right now. Come to the other side, lock this section in, bring this one out and down, and then again with the large tab, push it in, and just kind of press everything into place. Bring down the arm, take the tail and bring it back, flatten out the toes, little inner parts of his feet. There you got that. Bring the guns up a little more. Bring the head forward one click because it locks in. Swivel this all the way around. Fold the cannons back like that. Take the arms and untab them from this section and just bring them down. Untab and down. And you also want to get full tilt in place. And for that, the back end of full tilt will sit right in here. And there is a tab here that will go into this slot here. And then there is a post here that will go into this port there. Basically, just want to get everything lined up. Close that up. There you have full tilt in place. Bring down the head. And there you have Trypticon in Dino mode. He's big. Here's his size compared to a soda can. He's really big. As has been oft repeated at this point, his colors are pretty much the same in every single mode. Dark gray, a bit of a dark purple, translucent orange, a very bright green, a light gray, and a plethora of stickers. Oh, and some metallic gray plastic. And the tiniest bit of black. Ooh, he is awkward. View from above. And below. His poseability is okay. His head can move up and down pretty far on a rather nice ratchet. His mouth can open. Unfortunately, it opens on the top hinge instead of the bottom, which has just always bothered me. As you can see, he actually has a throat. And that is because he can eat Titan Masters. Or in this case, Prime Masters. You just chuck them down his gullet. No. Although you can get them back by pulling on full tilt and opening up this compartment. And you can see the little spot they all land in. With yet more stickers, which were infuriating to put on, I promise you. His head can't really turn side to side, unfortunately. You have to turn this whole platform. And when these guns are back, you can't do that. But you can bring the guns forward. And when it's like that, his head can turn... Come on. His head can turn a little bit side to side. But the guns themselves actually get in the way. Of course, if you want, you can extend the cannons. As you saw earlier, his arms are pretty poseable. They are on a swivel that can go all the way around. They can move out to the side that far. They've got just a single elbow joint, which can move pretty well. It can't really go fully straight, but it can bend a little over 90 degrees. You just have a wrist joint that can move up and down. He doesn't have a swivel at the wrist, which I think is a little bit wasted, but his claws can open. The bottom or thumb claws on a single hinge, and then the top two claws are on a hinge together. Although, considering the size of this figure, I would sort of expect these two to be separated. But, yeah, it is what it is. His waist can't really do anything because of how he transforms. His legs can only go out to the side. Oops, let's do this side. His legs can only go out to the side that far. They can go pretty much all the way around, but they sort of get stopped in places. They can go that far back, though. He doesn't have a swivel just below the hip, which I would normally expect. He does have pretty good knees. They can actually bend all the way in the wrong direction. You can break his legs. And his knees can bend that far, which is pretty good. And he does, in fact, have an ankle tilt. A fairly decent one, too. Not that his hips can really go out far enough to make use of it, and boy, they are loud. His poseability is decent, but a little bit limited for a figure this big. One other feature he has is you can take full tilt Necro, or really any Titan Master, or Prime Master, however you wish, and put them into their head mode. And there is a switch right behind his head that the Headmaster locks onto. Maybe. Come on. Get in there, will you? There we go. And then when you press down on them when they are in there, it reveals his nose cannon. You can just press it back down and then open back up, and so he's got yet another way to shoot people. Interestingly enough, you actually don't need the Headmaster in there. You can just press on the switch with your finger, and it'll pop up. but officially you're supposed to use a Headmaster, Titan Master, or whatever. So you just press down on it, and his nose cannon pops up. That's pretty much it. He doesn't really have any way to hold weapons or anything. Ugh. His tail is a little stubbier than I'd like. I mean, you can... Whoa! Hey. You can flip out this panel and get his tail to be a little bit longer. But the color doesn't really match and it looks a little anemic. And besides, officially, it's supposed to be collapsed up anyway. I do like how he basically has dorsal plates, which is amusing to me. And there's all kinds of techno detail. Ooh, it's hot. But, yeah, aside from that, that's pretty much it. He's a very big, kinda poseable dinosaur that scales well with Metroplex. And literally nothing else. He is just too small to be in scale with anything else, but if he were any bigger, he would be the size of a literal child. And him being the size of a toddler is a bit much in at some points. Bye.